Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me for another time of stories. Before I get started on our books for today, I wanted to show you something that I planted. Now, this week I'm calling Garden Week, and we'll be reading some books about seeds and gardening, and we'll be talking about what plants need to live and what we could use plants for, what plants we eat. But I want to show you some seeds that I planted a few weeks ago when school closed. I planted these seeds. So it's been about 6 or 7 weeks, and I put some tomato seeds in these little pots. And I have some squash seeds, zucchini seeds, yellow squash. And you can see that these have sprouted and they're almost ready to go outside. And when they get outside, they'll get a lot more sunlight and they'll grow into big plants. And by the end of the summer, I will have tomatoes and zucchini to eat. Takes a while, but I wanted to start with a book today that explains how a seed grows. Let's look at that title, How a Seed Grows. Now this book is not pretend, this is a real book. So what do we call books that are real? Non-fiction, that's right. And even though I don't see any photographs, I see a lot of illustrations, we will learn about how a seed grows. And here we have our title page, How a Seed Grows, by Helene Jordan, illustrated by Loretta Krupinski. A seed is a little plant. It is a plant that has not started to grow. Apple trees and daisies, carrots and corn, clover and wheat all grow from seeds. So a seed is a little plant. Here's a tree seed. I don't know if you can see that right there. Someday it will be a tree like this. Here's a flower seed. Someday it will be a flower like this. What kind of flower is that? Maybe you eat these seeds and crack the shell open. Sunflower, that's right. Sunflower seeds. Some seeds grow slowly. These are the seeds of an oak tree. What do you call these when you find them on the ground? Acorn. An oak tree grows very, very slowly. Suppose you planted an oak tree seed. You would be a father or a mother or even a grandfather or a grandmother, and the oak tree would still be growing. So an oak tree grows slowly. My seeds did not grow slowly. Some seeds grow fast. This is a bean seed. It grows very fast. It grows so fast that it becomes a bean plant in just a few weeks. You can plant bean seeds yourself. We used pole beans. You can use pole beans, bush beans, or lima beans. You can plant the seeds in eggshells or tin cans or old cups or little flower pots. Be sure that your containers have holes in the bottom. Last week we talked about using an egg carton to plant seeds. Has anybody planted seeds yet? We used eggshells. We used a pencil to make holes in the eggshells. We filled 12 eggshells with soil like this. We made a hole in the soil with a finger like this. And just poke your finger in the soil. That makes a perfect spot for the seed. When you've made a hole in the soil, plant a bead seed in it. Plant one seed in each hole. Cover the seed with soil. Sprinkle the soil carefully with a little water. Number the shells. Write the number 1 on the first shell. Put the number 2 on the next shell. Keep going until all of the shells are numbered from 1 to 12. Put all the eggshells in an egg carton. Put the carton in sunlight on a windowsill. Some bean seeds grow faster than others. Our seeds began to grow in 3 days. Your bean seeds may take a little longer. You won't be able to see your seeds growing yet. They start to grow under the soil where you can't see them. Water your seeds a little every day. The water soaks into the seeds. The seeds begin to grow. More water soaks into the seeds. The seeds get fatter and fatter. Still under the soil. Here's a little picture of what's happening under the soil. Wait for 3 days and then dig up seed number 1. It may be soft. It may be fat. Maybe it will look the same as it did before. Soon the seed will grow so fat that its skin will pop off. In 2 more days, dig up seed number 2. Maybe it will look different now. Maybe the skin of this seed will be loose. Now a root starts to grow. The root grows from one side of the bean seed. The root pushes down into the soil, down and down. Dig up seed number 3. Can you see the root? Does it look like this? If you do not see a root, wait for another day, then dig up seed number 4. After a few more days, dig up seed number 5. Something else is happening. Little roots will be growing from the big root. They look like tiny white hairs. They are called root hairs. Day after day, the roots and root hairs push down into the soil. Day after day, the bean seeds are pushed up. The soil gets pushed aside. Watch your seeds. Soon you will see pale shoots push through the soil. A shoot is the beginning of a green plant. A shoot grows towards the sun. So let's point. Which way does a root grow? Roots grow down. Which way does a shoot grow? So we say root, shoot. They rhyme, don't they? Watch your seeds. Some may have come through the ground. Some may have broken open. Maybe some of your seeds have not started to grow. How many are growing? Count them. The bean seeds grow fast. The shoots turn green. The leaves come next. Now your bean seeds are bean plants. They look like this. How many of your bean seeds are bean plants? A seed needs many things to grow. It needs soil and water and sun. And if you remember in our garden with Ladybug Laney, there's actually 4 things. What's missing in this picture? We have soil, water, sun, air. A seed also needs air, even though it's underground. If a seed has all these things, it will grow into a plant. It will grow into the same kind of plant that it came from, an apple tree or a daisy or carrots or corn. It will grow into clover or it will grow into a bean plant, like the ones you planted. And there's our sunflower plants. Well, if this is something you want to do at home, if you want to number your seeds and take a look at them on each day, just remember you probably can't plant it after you dig it up and look at it. So if you see these kids here, they looked at their seeds each day. They started with 12, but they don't get to plant 12 because they were looking at them. And it's fine to take a look at your seeds. That's science. That's investigation and making observations. So if you have extra seeds, that would be a really fun thing to do. But I wouldn't do that if your parents have planted a garden. You can't go dig up those seeds and look at them, because that might mess up the plants. All right, well, our next book is a fun book that I like to read in the spring called Tops and Bottoms. And if you take a look at this cover, what's really interesting is right here is the spine. Is the spine usually on the top of a book? The spine is usually on the side of a book, and we would open it this way. But look at this book. It opens a different way. Tops and Bottoms, adapted and illustrated by Janet Stevens. And here we have some roots and some shoots. Roots point which way the roots grow. Roots grow down, and which way do the shoots grow? So the bottoms are roots and the tops are shoots. Tops and bottoms. Once upon a time, there lived a very lazy bear who had lots of money and lots of land. His father had been a hard worker and a smart business bear, and he had given all of his wealth to his son. But all Bear wanted to do was sleep. Does this book look like it's fiction or nonfiction? This book was nonfiction. It showed us real things to do. Does this show us something real or make-believe? So we say this story is fiction. It's a pretend bear. Not far down the road lived a hare. Although Hare was clever, he sometimes got into trouble. He had once owned land too, but now he had nothing. He had lost a risky bet with a tortoise and had sold all of his land to Bear to pay off the debt. Hare and his family were in very bad shape. "The children are so hungry, Father Hare. We must think of something," Mrs. Hare cried one day. So Hare and Mrs. Hare put their heads together and cooked up a plan. Look at all their children. They're so hungry. And maybe you could ask your mom and dad, what's the story of the tortoise and the hare? What was that bet? That's some reading you can do on your own to hear another funny story about a tortoise and a hare. But needless to say, Hare was not off to a good start. Lots of children and no money. So he made a plan. The next day, Hare hopped down the road to Bear's house. Bear, of course, was asleep. "Hello, Bear, it's your neighbor Hare, and I have an idea." Bear opened one eye and grunted. Can you wink? And make a grunt. "Arr." "We can be business partners," said Hare. "All we need is this field right here in front of your house. I'll do the hard work of planting and harvesting, and we can split the profit right down the middle. Yes, sir, Bear, we're in this together. I'll work, you sleep." "Huh?" said Bear. "So what will it be, Bear?" asked Hare. "The top half or the bottom half? It's up to you. Tops or bottoms?" Let's see," said Bear with a yawn. "I'll take the top half, Hare. Right? Tops." Hare smiled. "It's a done deal, Bear." So they're going to split the garden down the middle. Bear's going to take everything growing above the soil, we call those shoots, and Hare's going to take everything growing below the soil. What do we call those? Roots. So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. Hare planted, Mrs. Hare watered, and everyone weeded. Do you know what those weeds are called? Maybe you pull them out of your lawn sometimes. Dandelions. And when those yellow flowers turn white, you like to blow them. Make a wish. So the little bunnies are getting the weeds, and Bear is still sleeping. Bear slept as the crops grew, and when it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the tops. I get the bottoms." Right? They made a deal. Sounds fair, half and half. Well, here's the harvest. What kind of food did they grow? Carrots? Beets? So does Bear, is that fair? Bear gets the tops, the rabbits get the bottoms. Hare and his family dug up the carrots, the radishes, the beets. Hare plucked off the tops, tossed them into a pile for Bear, and put the bottoms aside for himself. Bear stared at his pile. "But Hare, all the best parts are in your half." "We don't eat carrot tops, do we?" "No, this is the good part." "You chose the tops, Bear," said Hare. "Now, Hare, you've tricked me. You plant this field again, and this season I want the bottoms." Hare agreed. "It's a done deal, Bear." So Hare's going to plant the field again. Bear went back to sleep. Hare and his family went to work. They planted and watered and weeded. Let's make a prediction. Do you think Hare planted the same as before? Carrots and radishes and all those yummy roots? Or do you think he's planting something different? Remember, this time, Bear gets the bottoms. Hare gets the tops. What kind of plants would Hare want to eat the tops of? Tell me what you think. Let's see if we're right. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the bottoms, and I get the tops." What did he plant out there? Doesn't look like carrots this time, does it? Hare and his family gathered up the lettuce, the broccoli, and the celery. Hare pulled off the bottoms for Bear and put the tops in his own pile. Do these bottoms look the same as before? Is Bear gonna like to eat the roots of lettuce, broccoli, and celery? What do you think? Bear looked at his pile and scowled. Make a scowl with me. "Hare, you have cheated me again." "But Bear," said Hare, "you wanted the bottoms this time." Bear growled. "You plant this field again, Hare. You've tricked me twice and you owe me one season of both tops and bottoms." "You're right, poor old Bear," sighed Hare. "It's only fair that you get both tops and bottoms this time. It's a done deal, Bear." All right, this time Bear's surely going to have a feast, right? Tops and bottoms. Sounds good to me. What do you think? So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. They planted and watered and weeded, then watered and weeded some more. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! This time you get the tops and the bottoms." What did he plant this time? What do you think? Look at that. What did they plant? What is that? Corn. There in front of Bear's house lay a high field of corn. Hare and his family yanked up every corn stalk. Hare tugged off the roots, that's the bottoms, at the bottom, and the tassels at the top. Oh, and he put them in a pile for Bear. So the tassels, do we eat corn tassels, that silky stuff at the top? No, we don't eat that. Do we eat the roots? Where are the roots? Down here. We don't eat the roots either. We don't eat the tops or the bottoms of corn. Oh my goodness. He collected the corn in the middle and placed that in his own pile. Bear rubbed his eyes and watched. "See, Bear," said Hare, "you get the tops and the bottoms, and I get the middles." "Yes, sir, Bear. It's a done deal." Did Bear get tricked again? By now, Bear was wide awake. "That's it, Hare," he hollered. "From now on, I'll plant my own crops and take the tops, bottoms, and middles." Hare and his family scooped up the corn and hopped down the road toward home. But Bear never again slept through a season of planting and harvesting. Hare bought back his land with the profit from the crops, and he and Mrs. Hare opened a vegetable stand. And although Hare and Bear learned to live happily as neighbors, they never became business partners again. And does Bear sleep through the harvest and the planting and the weeding and the watering, or is Bear hard at work? Bear is hard at work. So the thing that we learn from this story is you can't just sleep through the season, can you? Bear just wanted to snooze away instead of working hard. Is that the way we go about our lives, just snoozing away and letting other people do the work? No, we all have to pitch in, don't we? So Bear learned you gotta work hard if you want a yummy feast. Well, I hope you can work hard and help your family plant something this season, even if it's one seed, or maybe you've got a whole garden growing. I would love to hear what you are planting. So join me on our Zoom calls Wednesday or Friday, and we'll watch my plants grow, and we'll talk about what you're growing. All right, friends, have a great garden week. I'll see you later.